President-elect Donald Trump has made one point perfectly clear. If a U.S.-based company plans to move operations from the United States to any different nation, they will be punished. The president-elect has now set his sights on a company you may not have heard of, Rexnord. This is a Milwaukee-based manufacturer. They make things like ball bearings that plans to move its Indiana plant operations to Monterrey. Not Monterrey, California, Monterrey, Mexico. He tweeted this over the weekend. Rexnord of Indiana is moving to Mexico and rather viciously firing all of its 300 workers. This is happening all over our country. No more. But we need to tell you that Rexnord, you know, with its 4,200 U.S.-based employees, they have 7,700 employees overall, but 4,200 in the U.S., they're pretty small. What about these Wisconsin-based companies? Manpower Group, Kohl's, Oshkosh Corporation, Rockwell Automation, Joy Global. They all have massive operations both in the United States and overseas. Let's bring in the man who is the conduit for Wisconsin companies. He's Kurt Bauer, CEO of Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Welcome back to the program. Kurt, we appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Liz.
A lot of people are calling this a shakedown on behalf of Donald Trump. Some call it shaming. They're forcing companies, requiring companies, scaring companies into this. How do you see it? Because these companies that we've shown, including Rexnord, all do a lot of business overseas already.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what the president-elect is doing, but I can tell you that there's a tremendous amount of optimism out there in the business community in Wisconsin, I think nationwide. They're very excited about what the prospects of what a Trump presidency will mean for taxes and regulation, for reforming health care, a huge cost of doing business, and tapping domestic energy. I think that there's reason to be optimistic if you're a manufacturer in the state of Wisconsin or elsewhere, and it runs through all the other sectors of the economy. I mean, all the businesses that you mentioned are doing well in Wisconsin because we have a strong business climate thanks to Governor Walker. Now Donald Trump needs to copy Walker, and he needs to address those major costs of doing business that has spiked over the last 8 years. Now we need to be competitive with the rest of the globe.
Would you feel the same way that you do now if he turns his sights on, say, Manpower? Manpower has, I don't know, 2,900 offices in 80 different countries. We can cycle through some of these, and we can show you what your state's biggest companies, your shining examples of both manufacturing and corporations do. There's Kohl's, for example. It's a $10 billion company, mostly U.S.-based. It buys a lot from Asia, but Oshkosh interests me the most. Oshkosh, military and fire equipment trucks, I think they make scissor lifts too. 12,000 people around the globe, okay? They've got a lot of offices. They've got operations in Australia, Belgium, China, France, Romania, Canada, Rockwell, worldwide, from Bahrain to Botswana. I mean, these Wisconsin companies have major operations, so I'm beginning to wonder, what if he turns on Oshkosh and says, how can you move 150 employees to, for example, well, they're in China, France, Canada, to Romania. It's cheaper there, and we can sell our products, and we can keep the employees that we do have in Wisconsin still employed.
Well, what I would tell President-elect Trump is that if he focuses on reducing the corporate tax rate, which, as you know, is the highest in the industrialized world, it is, therefore the least competitive in the industrialized world. $2 trillion is what the American Competitive Enterprise Institute says that it costs to comply with U.S. regulations, the Affordable Care Act, the fact that we haven't been tapping into our energy. I mean, these are all important things. Those are major costs of doing business. If we can address those, if we can lower those, there's no reason to bring to move jobs overseas. Frankly, we have an opportunity to reshore, but there's one aspect of that that I think is important, and that is workforce. At least in Wisconsin, we have a workforce shortage. 70% of my members tell me they are having trouble finding workers. So in order to fully maximize the opportunities that we have, we're also going to need skilled and willing workers.
Okay, I know that you've written an op-ed that is very complimentary of Donald Trump, and it's about to go in the Milwaukee Sentinel newspaper. Some of these things that you say were written before he began to turn his sights on Rexnord and attack that company, which is just trying to stay in business. I have to tell you, Kurt, I mean, Rexnord has dropping sales, rising labor costs. I mean, perhaps you're going to change some of your op-ed, or no?
No, because I was critical of President-elect Trump on the immigration issue that I just referenced. Workforce immigration reform needs to be part of it. H-1B visas. We need highly skilled, specialized workers to come over here. They come to our universities and colleges. We give them advanced degrees, the best training in the world, and then we tell them that they have to go back home to compete against us. It doesn't make any sense. So we need common sense reform there. I also said that we need entitlement reform, and we need to worry about the $20 trillion national debt. And so I wasn't, I offered pros and cons. I mean, I think that by and large there's more positives about a Trump administration, and that's why it's reflected in my membership. 78% tell us that they are optimistic or very optimistic about what a Trump presidency means to their business and the prospects of growth in the U.S. economy.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see more on the policy, the umbrella policy that will be less specific and targeted to certain companies, and that may be helpful. Kurt, thank you very much.